Hello, Black Healing Matters family. This is Danielle here at the Black Healing Matters podcast, where we offer you ideas to hopefully move you one step closer to your healing. And today, I'm excited. I got something good for you today, fam. As you know, it's Thursday. And on Thursdays, we like to celebrate by catching somebody, not in the act of doing something wrong, like usual, like we see on the news and the media all too often, but we like to catch one of our own doing things right, in the act of doing right things. So on this Doing the Right Things Thursday, I bring you just that, someone who is actively doing the right things. Who is this person, you may ask? He is Dr. Nicholas Morgan. Dr. Nicholas Morgan is the founder of the Center for Integrative Wellness. He is the first naturopathic rheumatology resident in the United States and the first naturopathic resident in the state of Michigan. Wow. Oh, by the way, shout out to all you Detroit people. Dr. Morgan was born and raised in Flint, Michigan. And while in Flint, he was active both in his school and in the community. After graduating from Albion College, shout out to Albion College, woo-woo, he worked with substance abusers and adults with mental illnesses. It was at that time that he decided to return to college or to school for additional training. In 2011, Dr. Morgan graduated magna cum laude from the National University of Health Sciences and with the Doctor of Naturopathic Medicine. Dr. Morgan passed the naturopathic licensing examinations and holds a physician's license in the state of Utah, because the state of Michigan does not license their naturopathic physicians. Dr. Morgan's medical interests include, it's a list here, arthritis prevention, methylation polymorphisms, mental illness, what else? Oh, wow, this is a long list here. Mental illnesses, metabolic diseases, autoimmune diseases, nutritional biochemistry, mitochondrial dysfunction, and functional medicine. He completed 2 years of rheumatology training, and founded the Center for Integrative Wellness. The center provides affordable naturopathic consultations for traditionally underserved populations. The center also works to collaborate with the Arthritis Care PC and other physicians in the community to maintain a naturopathic rheumatology residency in the greater Lansing area to support an integrative approach to medicine. Dr. Morgan also conducts research for the Institute of Functional Medicine, volunteer coaches with the Albion College track and field teams, is an adjunct professor at the Great Lakes Christian College teaching biological foundations of nutrition, and is on the board of directors for the Genesee STEM Academy. Whew. Obviously, we have caught this man in the act of doing a whole lot of good things. So with all that being said, Dr. Nicholas Morgan, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, we're so honored to have you, really. This has been a long time in the making, and I just wanted to let you know personally. By the way, Black Healing Matters family, I actually went to college with Nicholas. We went to the same college, Albion College, and that's how I knew him initially. But, we've been out of touch for a long time. And so to be honest with you, I was kind of like Facebook stalking him, and I was kind of, looking at his profile to see what he had going on. And that's truly what attracted me to him and really wanted me. The reason I wanted to get him on our podcast because of the way that he shows up, the way he moves through the world. Obviously, his bio tells us a lot, but it's not just about the things that he's doing, but it's about the spirit that he brings to his work. So I'm really honored to have you here, Nick. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on, what you're passionate about these days, what's got you up early and up late at night?
Oh, well, I try not to stay up too late because sleep is important.
True, true.
But I've always been passionate about helping people with the healing process, and that takes many shapes and forms. Right now, I'm really focused on helping nudge people that make life-changing decisions, because you can have all the knowledge, but if you can't motivate people to implement change, then you're not helping as many people. So nudging people and making sure I'm nudging them the right way as far as what they eat, what is the latest and the greatest research and science say about supplements and lifestyle modification. So it's a great time to be alive, because 100 years ago, people who told others to eat right, to exercise, they were called quacks. And the medical field now is starting to do enough research and understand those biological processes. That's why in my bio, you kind of had a mouthful with some of those words, but it really takes place. The healing takes place on a cellular level. I mean, the damage takes place on the cellular level, and the healing takes place on the cellular level. And now we have a much better understanding of how to move people towards optimal health. So that's where I really enjoy spending my time researching and reading and focusing.
Wow. That's true, and I think that, like you mentioned about health and first of all, the damage and the healing happening on the cellular level, that's not a conversation we often get to hear about, even from the medical establishment. So I got to ask you, how did you get into or get interested in functional medicine? Because that's a pretty hot topic these days.
Well, functional medicine, I think a lot of doctors get into medicine to help heal people, and they want to help people live the best life that they can, and then they get caught up inside the machine of medicine. I often compare the medical hospitals to assembly lines. They kind of get people in, they diagnose them, they treat them, and move them on out. And medicine, I think it's an art form. And I know the medical field, they want to treat it as a hard science and kind of treat people the same way. But I do personalized medicine as a naturopathic physician. That's part of the philosophy, honoring everyone's individuality at the biochemical level, at the spiritual level, the lifestyle level. I mean, some people work a lot more hours than others. Some people have a lot more stresses in their lives than others, and all those things need to be honored, heard, and implemented into the treatment protocol, as opposed to just giving blanket cookie cutter recommendations. So functional medicine is kind of in line with that philosophy of treating the cause, figuring out what is going on with this person. I don't need to know the name of your disease. I need to know who you are as a person, how you got to where you are, and how to help move you, forward. So this is the philosophy that helped get me interested in functional medicine. But initially, like I said, it was naturopathic medicine. Functional medicine just was kind of an offshoot. Once I finished school, I did some additional training, because it's a word that's more often thrown around and used inside the conventional medical system. So it kind of allowed me to interact with more medical doctors and osteopathic physicians who were more like-minded.
I understand. So I just want to be clear, because I don't know if everybody has necessarily heard of or knows exactly what functional medicine is. So I understand, but can you just kind of real quickly give us like the soundbite of what actually is functional medicine at its most basic level? Because some people may
Mark Hyman always defines functional medicine as the opposite of dysfunctional medicine. And if you look at the medical system, like I said, a lot of things you're not treating people at the cellular level. You're treating the symptoms. And functional medicine is about figuring out what's going wrong on the cellular level by doing additional testing that might not be run in a traditional medical setting, and by really thinking at that cellular level, because everything that takes place, I always say, your body is a collection of cells. And when organ systems or different tissues start to break down, those tissues and organs, those symptoms are telling you something. And they're not telling you that you need more drugs in your system. They're telling you that, hey, at the cellular level, we need some support.
Yeah.
So functional medicine is about understanding that, believing that, and taking time to investigate.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more comprehensive, and it's not about just diagnosing and giving a drug that treats a symptom.
I understand. And that's brilliant. It's profound but simple, you know. It's really amazing. And I actually heard about functional medicine because I was looking at different, I guess, alternative forms of care for my family, actually, for my mother and for my grandmother. And you know, we actually did see a functional medicine physician or practitioner. And so I understand exactly what you're talking about, how, you know, they kind of, they look at the person as a whole, their lifestyle, their everything that's happened to them in the past, and look at that as, you know, for looking through that to kind of find the clues to what could be happening, or, you know, to affect this dysfunction in their life. So I think it's really an amazing field to be working in right now, and I'm thankful for you to actually bring that up. Thank you very much. Now, and this is the Black Healing Matters podcast. So in regards specifically to the Black community, obviously, you know, we have alarming health statistics, you know, across the board. But what are some ways that you find or you believe that could help us as Black people to improve our health or maintain our health in a more natural way?
You know, that's a profound question. When I meet with people,
Well, thank you.
Well, you know, because a lot of times, you know, when people are asked that question, they talk about diet, they talk about exercise, they talk about microaggressions that take place within a community. But I really try to promote a change in mindset as far as towards empowerment. I think a lot of people hear that something's genetic, or it runs in their family, and they therefore think it's genetic, and they kind of have this learned helplessness or hopelessness, where they just you know, they throw their hands up. Well, I'm going to get diabetes, I'm going to get high blood pressure, I'm going to get whatever, and they don't put up as much of a fight as I sometimes think is necessary to live a long, healthy life. And I have to have that conversation with patients sometimes. I ask them, how long do you plan to live? And you'd be amazed what you hear from people. You get people that are in their 30s that only plan to live to be into their 60s. And if you only plan to live into your 60s, that changes the entire dynamic of how you approach life.
Right.
Versus if you plan to live to be 100. And when I get people that say they plan to be 100, they exercise, they sleep, they eat healthy. They're trying to prepare their bodies to last 100 years,
Right.
as opposed to people who say, you know, 65 is good. So I really try to, you know, address those. I know it's a little morbid. It sounds a little morbid, but people don't talk enough about death in our community or any community. And I really try to have that conversation with people, because I can't convince you to eat salads and exercise and drink water if you're only planning to live to be 60 years old. And
Wow.
So, and you know, most of my patients, they usually are pretty good about, you know, wanting to live longer, but you'll be amazed at some of the years I hear. And it's some of it is they've given up. My grandfather died at 60. My father died at 60. If I make it at 65, I'll be happy. And they don't always attribute. And I asked them, did your grandfather smoke? Yeah, he smoked. He never exercised. He was overweight. Well, how about your dad? Yeah, my dad smoked too. I'm like, well, you know, those social things play a role in how long you live. And your environment, your lifestyle, those trump your genes. Your genes matter, but they are only a small piece of the picture. They're only a small piece of the puzzle. And if you are living right, if you are doing the best you can to live 100, you will be closer to 100 than 60 or 65. You know, I tell patients I think most people could easily make it to 80 years old. That's what I tell them. And I have patients into their 90s, and you know, but it takes having that mindset that I can do it. And once they have that mindset, then it's like easier to get them to make those lifestyle changes.
Wow.
So the mindset is where I think a lot of the shift needs to take place, because you know, it's not about enjoying, you know, I just want to enjoy myself and die type mentality, which I run into. I tell, you know, I ask patients, I say, hey, if I gave you the option to eat a salad every day and load it be 100, or you can eat whatever you want every day and you load it be 70, which would you prefer? And again, you get some people that say 70. Let me eat whatever I want. I load it be 70. I'd be happy with that. I don't want to have to eat healthy to live, you know, live longer. And that's always disheartening for me, because I don't think like that.
Right.
You know, if you tell me to go outside and walk 3 miles every day and I load it be 100 guaranteed, I'm like, I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out walking, or I'm eating that salad, or I'm doing what it takes to thrive and be healthy. And I feel like I'm picking on people a little bit. You don't have to do everything at once right away.
Mm.
You know, if you start exercising now and just doing a little bit, and then you start implementing in more healthy fruits and vegetables next year, or even in 2 or 3 years, and doing a little bit at a time, that's fine. You know, you don't have to make do a 180. But within the community, it just always amazes me, people's goals and what they're, you know, how they view their health and their relationship with food, and their health and their well-being.
That's amazing. You know, thank you so much for hitting on that, because I also agree that it's the root of many of our problems is the mindset. And it's about the health, you know, it's in regards to our finances, in regards to many areas that we struggle with. It's about mindset. And I love that you talk about the long-term approach of what I'm doing right now, how is this connecting to my future, you know, and in the life that I want to live. Is this exemplary of the life that I want to live? That's profound.
And I gave a talk for Black History Month last week, and I called it "Making Black History," because I'm a strong believer of living your life with a purpose, and what you do today matters. What you do tomorrow matters, and if you're kind of wandering aimlessly through life with your health and not making purposeful decisions that lead you to health and well-being, then you could just as easily make decisions that lead you into disease and ill health, and you know, not living your optimal life. So I'm a strong believer of purposeful decisions when making meals, when doing things. Don't have to be perfect. You know, if you want to enjoy some peach cobbler or eat some candy yams every now and then, I'm fine with that. But you know, I always say get back on the wagon and get back to your water, your salads, your nuts, your seeds, your fruits, and get back to your whole food plant-based diet.
So you recommend a plant-based diet. Now,
you know, I don't have a blanket recommendation for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's individualized care. I get people in that don't tolerate certain things, and I work with them on their GI and their digestion and so forth. But as a default, you know, people need to have plenty of phytonutrients, plenty of different colored foods inside their diet that are from from plants. So I kind of have a handout called Eat a Rainbow Every Day, and it has yellow and orange and purple and dark green leafy vegetables and different things on it. And I really just say, hey, try to eat a diverse diet that has lots of plant-based things inside of it. And you know, I know there's paleo people out there. I know there's Atkins people out there, and I work with people that have different diets to still be as healthy as possible. But yeah, usually fruits and vegetables is a good start.
Wow, fantastic. I gotta ask you though, something struck me while you were talking because you said
Uh-oh.
you no, it's not that. You said what you said about living purposefully, that every day, every moment, you have a kind of a purpose, right? And so I wanted to ask you, how did you get into, or what made you kind of decide to go down this road of naturopathic medicine and functional medicine and all the other types of more natural approach to health that you have done? I mean, what was there some kind of, was there a story? Is there something that happened, or just one day you woke up and decided this is right? How did you come about this decision?
We don't have enough time in the podcast for all of that, but I always say it's a calling. And I had a lot of interactions with the medical field at an early age, from my own health issues and from family health issues. And I always wanted to be a doctor growing up, but when I had those interactions with the medical field, the doctors were not the type of doctors I imagined I would want to be one day. They're not the type of doctors I saw on TV. They were dismissive. There were, quick appointments. People's individuality weren't being honored. So after school or during school, I kind of said, I don't want to really be a medical doctor anymore. I do therapy, I do social work, and I work with people with mental health issues to help them live the best lives that they can. And even working in that field, I saw a lot of their medical needs weren't being addressed, which affect their mental health. Everything's kind of connected. So you can't take a person and that has mental health issues and not address their physical health needs, and the same thing vice versa. I mean, everything's connected. So I kind of said, well, I go back to school, and in investigating, I came across naturopathic medicine, which I had never heard of. If I had heard of it earlier, I probably would have gone to school earlier in my career, but never heard of it. And it's just, the philosophy was perfect for me. There's a way to live that promotes health and well-being. What you do today matters, and what you do today can impact your long-term health. I mean, that's the simple gist of it. So the medical field, they buy into that now, but it's not at the forefront of their system. I mean, if you go to the American Diabetes Association website, or the American Heart Association website, or American Cancer Society website, they all tell you to eat healthy. They all tell you to exercise. They all tell you to manage your stress and so forth. But when you go into the medical offices, they're 7-minute visits, and you walk out with a drug. So naturopathic medicine allows me to practice medicine the way I want to practice it, and the philosophy is completely in line with how I view and how I believe doctors should interact with patients.
Yes, I knew there was a story. I knew there was something.
Well, that's not the whole story.
But I'm glad that you touched on that. No, because seriously, I think so many of our people, of Black people, don't really trust and don't feel welcome, don't feel heard or valued when they interact with the typical physician. And I think many people can relate to your story. Even myself, I can definitely relate to what you're talking about, feeling dismissed or feeling rushed, and knowing at the end of this expensive 7-minute visit that I'm going to end up with a barrage of pills to take and possibly no closer to healing. And so I think that's really something that I'm glad you echoed that sentiment, because I feel you on that. Wow. Time is passing, and I know you got a lot going on. I'm sorry to keep you so long, but as we wrap up here, Dr. Morgan, can you at least share with us how the people can get in contact with you, if they're local or outside of your local Lansing area, right? Are you in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Lansing, Michigan.
Even if they're outside of the Lansing, Michigan area, how can they contact you? How can they connect with you, either for your services or just kind of to maybe bounce some questions off you?
They can they can call my office to set up a free 10-minute consult. And my number there is 517-455-7455. And they can also email me, and my email address is just Dr. Nicholas Morgan, DrNicholasMorgan @gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook, or you can visit my website, which is just Naturopathic Doctor. So it's just NATUROPATHIC.DOCTOR.
Wonderful. Okay, Dr. Nicholas Morgan, I have to say thank you so much. We've had several interviews on this show, on this podcast, and none of them have been quite like this one. And I'm just really thankful for you that you're bringing your expertise, not just here to our podcast, which I do appreciate, but to the world, and really serving communities. Like you mentioned in your bio, you mentioned underserved communities. This is where we really, need you. So thank you so much for all the work.
Thank you.
In the world, in your volunteering, in your work, everything. It's awesome. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thanks for having me. This is actually my first podcast, so
really?
Thank you for your work and trying to highlight some people that probably normally otherwise wouldn't be highlighted.
That's what we do here. And so Black Healing Matters family, you heard it. This is your Doing the Right Things Thursdays interview. Let me know how you felt about this interview, what you like. Please do reach out to Dr. Nicholas Morgan. He is great, trust me, at what he does. And again, all the reviews, all the accolades he deserves. And on that note, Black Healing Matters family, I love you, right? Stay blessed. And as always, Black Healing Matters.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.